We all know that Florence was the birthplace of the Renaissance. Art, sculpture, painting, music. But it was also true of literature and manuscripts. I have to speak softly because we are in one of the most oldest libraries in all of Florence, the Biblioteca Marucelliana. And it's off the beaten path, but I want you to go inside. This doesn't look like what we're going into, so be ready, because when I open this door, we're going to walk through very quietly, and you're going to see the most astounding library ever. Ready?
Oh my God, I get so stoked by that music. That library, I know I look like a complete freak. Let me show you some of the pictures, because that day was torrential downpour and I got caught in the rain. That's my excuse for my hair looking so crappy. This was the day. Now, can you see that? That's the street it's on. Let me tell you, let me begin again. I go to Florence and I'm doing research for this book, The Unraveling of Julia. The headline of the story is that a woman in Philadelphia, who is a young widow and lost her husband very tragically, one day thinks her luck is beginning to change when she inherits all this money and an estate in Tuscany, but she doesn't recognize the name of her benefactor. The woman's name's Amelia Rossi, and it's a complete stranger to her. So she goes, well, who is this person? Am I related to this person? And the problem is it's a mystery, because she's adopted and she doesn't know anything about her birth family. And her adoptive parents, to whom she was very close, are dead. So she has to go to Tuscany and try to solve this mystery of her own birth. When she goes there, all these incredible things happen that start to unhinge her psychologically. And part of it is that she starts to learn that the person who left her the money, who might be her grandmother, was a little bit suffered from paranoid delusions, believed that people were out to get her, and also had delusions of grandeur. So she thought she was related to this famous Renaissance ruler woman named Caterina Sforza. So our girl in the novel, Julia, has to research Caterina Sforza. This is me. I go to Florence. That's all I know the book's going to be about. I don't know what's going to happen. People say, do you know how it ends? I don't know how it middles. I know absolutely nothing. Soon you'll be impressed. And I get there and I think, well, I want to learn about the Renaissance. And so you saw last week, we went to the Uffizi Museum. Everybody in the world in Florence goes to the Uffizi, right? So, all right. I figured, well, all right, we want to learn a little about literature in Florence. And I know a fair amount about Dante, who was really medieval, but kind of bridges the gap between medieval and Renaissance literature. And he's so big. He is so big in Florence. They love him. They got statues, everything, everywhere, right? And he really figures into the novel. And so I take myself with Laura, my bestie, right? We go to this. I said, well, let's just go to the main museum in Florence. And we go to the National Museum, which I won't even show you a picture of because it's so ugly. It's this big, ugly museum, but it's really big. And it's right on the Arno. It's kind of an incredible location. I'm like, all right, well, to do research, basically what I do is put myself in the shoes of my character. I go, well, let's say that my character goes into the library because she wants to research Caterina Sforza right in Florence, where Caterina Sforza was from. So I go up to the library, me and Laura go up, we do our little video, we knock on the door, they go, oh, you can't come in. I'm like, wait, what do you mean I can't come in? Like, I got to do this research for this book. And they're like, no, you have to be a student, you have to have a special permit, all this stuff. Like, I got nothing, like I got a Pennsylvania license plate, I'm from South Philly, like it doesn't get you anywhere. I'm like, oh my God, I'm screwed. Like I'm trying to do this research in Florence, and here I'm closed out of the research library. And that is, in a way, the cool thing, as in life, the things that you think are going to suck that turn out great, or you get a bad hand, then you go, well, maybe this turned out the way it should have. Because I'm sitting there, we start doing all this research right away. And then we say, well, I'll try to find another library. And so I found the most incredibly beautiful library. It's called the Biblioteca Marucelliana, and it is in Florence. And I go, well, let me go there. And so it is the torrential rain. This, you can't even find this place. There's, first off, besides the fact that we were in a part of town that no one goes anyway, because it's kind of residential, off the beaten track. This is the road. That's the rain. You see how many people are on the street? None. Me and Laura, we're on the street. We're hating our life. We're going, first, we've already got screwed up at one library. Now we're going to get this other library. We hope it's worth the trouble, right? But it looks kind of interesting. It doesn't get Yelp reviews or anything, but I'm doing the research, right? Here's this beautiful square, also rainy. We walk through there. We're wet as hell. That's why I look so bad. That's my excuse. Then we get there. It's got these really pretty flags. It looks like in this beautiful brownstone. I'm like, oh, well, gee, a library in a house. We walk in. There's statues like this on the stairway. It turns out that it's this incredibly historical and truly hidden gem off the beaten path. If you were a book lover like I am, and like you guys are, you are basically walking into this place that is much more than a library. And I love libraries. I wouldn't be an author but for libraries. Like we didn't have books in my house. We had television. But it was librarians that got me to read, and it was wonderful. Now, parts of the library, at first, when you walk in, sound like I said when you fart. When you first walk in, it looks kind of mundane, like, oh, all right, well, that's like an institutional library. And then you could see in the video, because we weren't allowed to take pictures, so we took the video really quick. But you go in this little door, and you can see from the video, and you open it up, and the door is shaped like a coffin because it's like really, really old from like the late 1800s. And the books in this library are put there by law. There was a law around 1910 that said this library and this library only must carry by law all books published in Florence. I go, that's so fascinating, and also a really cool library to study in. And you could see that people in that main room, they weren't there, but they were in the other rooms. You go in this room and you open this little coffin door, and it's such a narrow passageway that me and Laura have to go like this. We can't even go side by side. And we walk in, and it opens up to this vast space. It's huge. It's beautiful. I can show you what it looks like as I did in the video, but what I can't get you to is the smell. It smells like old paper, but in the best way. And that old way old wood smells. And you could see the plaster was beautifully like redone, and the colors were cream and amber. And you could see floors and floors and floors of books and you got there by a library ladder. Who doesn't want a library ladder? I mean, it's the coolest thing ever. And it was really like a religious experience. And then what starts to happen is we walk through the back, and so you see these books, and the books are really cool. They have things like this coat rack, which I would kill for. Like I go to estate sales to buy antique things like that. Look at how the shelves are so old that they have this like brass filigree, and real brass, like nothing fake. Here's a close up of it. I mean, if you were a book lover like we are, you would die. I was like, this looked like it was going to be a big mistake. Kristen Hormel is watching. Oh my God, one of my favorite authors in the whole wide world. Oh my God, I'm so honored. You guys, if you do not read Kristen yet, you must read her. She is sensational. I have her over here. Was it The Night of Hidden Stars? I love her historical fiction. She's amazing. And she's also buddies with Christy Woodson Harvey, who we're going to talk about in a minute. So hang it up. I got excited. This is why I can't look at the thing. Susie, thank you. Oh, Laura, thank you. Anyway, here's the books. Here's me. But you don't have to look at me here. I'll cover me. Because I want to show you this room. This was the room off to one side. Beautiful curtains. Beautiful display of old manuscripts that you can just walk in and see. And then you get to the Sanctum Sanctorum, this incredible rare book library. Now, I'm going to take a second to say, I don't know what you did with your libraries, but when I was in college, there was the big institutional library. I went to Penn, there was the big institutional library, and it had like carols and a vending machine and all the crap that gets you through college, although there's never enough pretzels in the vending machine, but that's just my problem. And I studied there a lot. But one day I said, God, this library is so uninspiring. And I went over to another library, also in Penn campus, which was designed by Frank Furness, a famous American architect. And it's the Art and Architecture Library. And my father was an architect, and it was beautiful. And I had these vaults and interesting decorations, and the shelves were all nooks and crannies. And it was just like this room. And I started studying in that library. And this reminded me of that feeling. That's the cool thing about research, the point I'm trying to make, that it isn't really about a place per se, although this actual library I put in The Unraveling of Julia. It's in the book because I thought it was such a gem and nobody knows about it. As you can see, like it's me and Laura and some other grad students in this place. But what you get when you have that feeling is, I guess, what the kids call vibes. Because I was transported in this place and I thought, I have to use this. And in a way, it informs the character because I thought, this is a woman, in a way, she's a widow. I mentioned that. Well, when she's in the library, who does she meet? A super hot librarian. Like, he's gorgeous. He's got those espresso brown eyes that Italians have, or at least in my imagination. And he's got curls, they're dark curls, and he's really witty, and he's kind, and he's soulful. And this woman, Julia, really loved her husband a lot, but there's a part of her that she's grieving so strongly, and she doesn't really know if she can love someone again. And then she meets him. Because if you're, and I started to think, I need a romantic angle in this book. I was inspired by going to this place. It swept me away with romance, and not only in the literal Bradley Cooper sense, but also in the way that romanticism is about lyricalness and a way to live your life and a way to be open-hearted and a way to love and a way to appreciate the pleasures of life, especially in a place like Tuscany where the food and the Chianti and the cheese and the grapes and the local blah, blah, you get the idea. I said, I'm going to use it. And so this library not only informed the novel in that it became a place in the novel, but it informed the novel because it gave me a male character that my character might fall in love with. And then things started to percolate in the plot, which I hadn't written the book yet, all because we got turned down at the big ugly library, only to find the beautiful library, which, believe it or not, even has a garden that the character goes into with the guy. I mean, it was just, to me, it was one of those moments that you pray for and you go, this is wonderful. It was a life experience to be there. It's free. If you ever get your butt to Florence, find it. It's really, you'll be the only person there and you'll go, this is why I read books. Because books have been around for thousands of years and smart people put them in beautiful homes for them. And it's really just a place to let your imagination go free and your inspiration to breathe it in, the true Latin feeling of being inspired and feeling that you can create something. Because that day in that library, I thought, maybe I can do this book after all. So it was really, really amazing. And that's really the story that's behind that library and the book. Now, to the fun part, especially because people like Kristen are here. I was very delighted when when I was able to send out copies of The Unraveling of Julia, which I'll point to in my little stupid, I feel like a Vanna White. Does anyone know who that is? Please, come on. I was very, very honored that Christy Woodson Harvey, one of my favorite authors, said this about the novel. This is when I read you good things people say about me. It's like we get an A report card and you want to tell your mommy. Pulse pounding, propulsive, utterly unputdownable. The Unraveling of Julia is a masterclass. That was so nice. In the art of novel writing with the transportive Italian setting, intricately drawn characters, and historical details brilliantly interwoven. That was so nice of her to say because I really worked hard on that part. Lisa Scottolini, me, delivers another can't-miss masterpiece at once a gripping page-turner and a poignantly rendered study on love, female friendship, and family connection. That's really what I was trying to do. It's not just, there's a lot of layers to this book. This book reaffirms my status as the undeniable queen of the psychological thriller. How nice is Christy Woodson Harvey? Let me tell you, she's a lovely, lovely person. I'm a huge fan of hers. And this is her new book called Beach House Rules. If you are headed to a beach or a pool anytime soon, I really recommend this book. I just loved it. First off, you know I'm a mother-daughter person. My daughter Francesca was here last week. We're thick as thieves. We're besties. We love each other. This book really has a lot and strikes all of those notes, all of the notes that I love. Female friendship, twisty-turny intrigue, people behaving badly, rich people behaving badly at a beach, even better. I honestly couldn't put this book down. And it also has also, even though it's very, very entertaining, it has these layers to it that really, really move you and bring you to tears. So, you know that since I am a book lover, I like to introduce you to other authors I love. And Christy's definitely one of them. And I'm so honored that she liked my book too. So pick her up if you haven't already. This new book is out this weekend. I know you will love it. I feel your loyalty and I feel your encouragement, and I really, really, really appreciate it. So thank you for being with me yet again. Thank you guys very, very much, and I'll see you later.